Hi guys, welcome back to another video. I'm sorry I've been absent for a little while, but I've been helping get my dad settled after he was released from hospital and getting on with some things at home. Okay, today we're going to be making a version of shaker bookmarks. I originally made these years ago in fabric. If you want to watch that video, the link will be below. And this is me going to recreate it in a paper version. Now, I've not done any prototypes of this, so bumble along with me while I hash it out. You're going to need some scrapbook paper, some double-sided tape, and some acetate from packaging or just acetate sheets you can buy online, and some sequins. And that is, oh, and some glue. I mean, whatever glue is your preferred method, it doesn't need to be sticky tape, but I do find that double-sided tape is the best adhesion method for acetate. Okay, so I'm just showing you here that it doesn't matter the thickness of your acetate. I've got quite a thin one there because we're going to be doubling it up. I'm using these printed sheets that came from a Teach You How to Watercolour book. It was a book that had a printed version and a sketch version, and you copied it. I gave the sketch versions to my friends and I just kept the printed versions for scrapbooking. I'm going to use this pink one because it's pretty. So you're going to need some kind of patterned paper for the background, and I'm thinking of using some bees with that. I was just in a bee mood. Maybe it's because it's summer. Oh, that's really pretty, the colourful one. But no, I'm going to stick with the pink. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is cut yourself your bookmark shape. I'm going to use the width of my ruler because it's a nice handy shape and size. And I am going to find the knife and trim that down to size. Now you can make your bookmark any width, any length, it's totally up to you, and any scrapbook paper. If you want to make the custom ones out of fabric where you print your own images onto acetate, definitely watch that other video. It's a little bit long-winded, it is very, very old, I'm talking years old, so please bear with me. You can fast forward all the chatting I do in it. It's not as quick as these videos. Okay, I'm cutting myself my initial bookmark shape. I've come to the conclusion, me and knives just hate each other. Me and rulers, me and scissors, we're just not friends. I was never destined to be somebody who cut things out. I am at peace with that, and I am just going to bumble along. I'm showing you can make a wider bookmark. This one's quite narrow, but I kind of dig it. Now bear with me, because in this project there's going to be many do as I say, not as I do examples, because I didn't make a prototype, so you're going to see lots of mistakes that you can then avoid. It was totally on purpose, I promise you, showing you how not to do it. Okay, so for the back you're going to need another piece of paper. Now you can go for a contrasting bit of paper, you could go for something really cute, or like me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the same paper. But one thing to bear in mind is if you use a different paper on the back of your bookmark, it should not shine through your first image. As you can see here, I'm about to show you. Pick something that is either light, that isn't going to shine through, or just pick something that is not a double-sided pattern paper and you can back white to white on your paper. I'm just showing, this one's quite thick, so nothing kind of shines through this one, so I'd be okay with using double-sided pattern paper, but I'm just going to use the image I've started with and cut myself another strip. Now I don't know why I decided to cut a strip to size instead of just gluing my first one on and trimming afterwards. Totally out of sync for me, not what I normally do. I must have been feeling brave, thinking that for once I might actually measure something perfectly. I mean, it was kind of a no-brainer. I am using a ruler as a guide. Okay, so I'm just cutting my second bit of paper, and I'm going to adhere these back to back. This is just so when you turn over your bookmark, you have a nice back side of your bookmark too, and you can put absolutely anything there. It doesn't even need to be pattern paper. You could use book paper. You could even, I don't know, customize it, leave it blank and write a little note on it. Okay, so I'm going to adhere these together using double-sided tape. Don't ask me why that was my method of adhesion. I don't know either. I have a roll of glue in front of me, which would have been much less labour intensive than this. But, you know, live on the wild side. Occasionally do something weird, like use double-sided tape to stick two pieces of paper together when you really don't need to. Okay. So I'm sticking these together with my tape, and now on the back of your bookmark, if you're worried that your bookmark is going to be used and get dirty, like get fingerprints, if it's going to be handled a lot, I would cover the back of your bookmark with clear adhesive, or not clear adhesive, packing tape, or another layer of I can't speak today, I can't word, I don't know what's going on with me. Another layer of acetate on the back of your bookmark when you come to finishing it off, just to protect both sides and make it wipeable. I'm leaving mine paper because I don't touch bookmarks a whole lot, and this will be getting deposited in a journal and probably left there just as a page keeper. Okay, now today, once again, I am having problems with the stickiness. Now that I have found a tool that helps me peel, it's decided that was not good enough, and instead it's going to fight with me and it's going to rip. So I'm going to have to fight with my sticky tape regardless. I feel like the sticky tape and we have a slight nemesis type relationship, where anytime I find ways to defeat it, it thinks up new ways to, make me hate it again. And in this case, it just did not seem to want to play ball. Okay, so now I'm going to adhere these two together, and this is what I mean why I don't know why I cut a strip out, because look at the struggle of trying to line this up. I am one of these people that no matter how straight and perfectly square something is, I will never ever be able to line them up. It's like an inbuilt flaw. But there's always trimming. Trimming, and trimming. It can hide all your misdemeanors. So yeah, that's what I was saying about don't cut it out first. Glue it onto the paper, then trim it, because you just save yourself the stress of your inability to line things up. I'm starting to think it's a slight disability in me, that the avoidance of straight, the avoidance of lining up. Okay, so now that we have done that took way longer than it should have. We are going to make our acetate layer for our sequins. Now, you can use your double-sided tape, like this thick one here. If you didn't have any thin stuff, you could just trim yourself long strips in half like this. But I have thinner stuff, so I'm going to be lazy and use that. Now, ideally, what you would use here is foam tape, but I don't know where mine is. So I'm going to do it the really hard way, where I'm going to cut myself lots of strips of paper and pile them up. Now, if you don't have foam tape, another good thing to use is craft foam. You can cut yourself a strip of craft foam, glue each side, and voila, foam tape. Or you could sticky tape each side, I guess, but gluing also works with foam tape. I'm not sure if sticky tape sticks to craft foam, so I'd maybe go on the air of caution and use glue if I was going to use foam tape. Okay, we're going to make ourselves a 3-sided border where we are going to be able to slide sequins in the top open end. Now make sure the end you leave open is the bottom of your bookmark, because we are going to close it there and add ribbon later. If I'm sniffing a lot, it's because I have the dreaded hay fever. I sniff a lot when it comes to this time of the year. There's nothing I can do about it. Antihistamines don't help. I just sniff constantly like I've got the lurgy. So I'm going to cut myself some really thin strips of my patterned paper, and I'm going to cut about 4 strips per side, because we are going to layer them up to make DIY foam tape. Except it's not really foam tape because it's not foamy, it's paper tape, but you know what I mean. You could also use thick card for this part, just a wee thick card strip, or double them up. Or if you had thin card, maybe you wouldn't need as many as 4 little bitsy strips to make it thick enough. The idea is that you're making kind of thick adhesion so that your acetate sits up off your paper so your sequins can move around. That's all this is for. But, use foam tape and you'll avoid all of this. Take 10 minutes less to make this project. Okay, so now I've got all these strips. I am going to line them up. No, not line them up. Stack them up using my glue stick. Now, this is step 1 in do as I say, not as I do. Do not use Scotch tape to adhere your strips, because I found they don't stick very well together later on when you're trying to, put the sequins in. It's very easy to peel apart. Or maybe it's just that I didn't let it dry. Probably that I didn't let it dry. I'm very impatient. So try and line them up the best you can. It doesn't matter if they're a little bit skew, if you can always trim them. And build yourself 2 long, thickish thing. I don't know, what are these? Tape? No, they're not tape. Little borders. Make 2 long ones and you'll need 1 short one. Like so. So 4 strips of paper glued together. There we go. We have 1 slightly thick strip that is going to enable our sequins to move around. Once again, people use foam tape, much easier, or craft foam. Craft foam glued in. I don't know why I didn't think of that. I have crap loads of craft foam. I even have it in white. Okay, so for the shorter ones, we're just going to cut strips in half, and there we go. We have 4, even though we only need 3. And we're going back to the sticky tape, and we're going to adhere these on the 3 sides. Now remember, the side you're leaving open is, I don't know what that was, stuck to my tape. I'm just having one of those days where I'm all fingers and thumbs and everything is sticking to everything. You're going to leave the bottom of your bookmark open, not the top. So be very aware of that when you're sticking the sticky tape on. You wouldn't think I have a tool that actually cuts the tape for you when adhering it to things, because ripping seems to be my method that I go to every time. It'd probably be a lot neater if I actually used the tool for its designated purpose. Okay, then we're going to peel. I don't know where that strip came from. Peel the strip. That's maybe where that came from. Peel the strip. And as you can see, I'm already fighting with it. And this is where I start regretting my choice of glue, because it kept lifting the paper and not the sticky tape. So it will come back to bite me later on, you shall see. So people, don't use Scotch glue stick to do the strips. Use something a little more substantial, because I'm once again peeling up my own pieces of paper. Or, just avoid it completely by using foam tape. I thought I'd be clever and make my own strips, except I'm not very clever at all, because look at the hassle it caused me. Okay, and I'm putting the last bit across at the top of my bookmark. For once I actually got that right. I didn't have to, peel it off and move it. It would be totally me to see everything's just sticking to everything. I was just having one of those days where halfway through this project I was like, you know what, I should just sack this video, because it's all just going to be me making a mess, bumbling. But these things always end up nice and finished, and I guess it's keeping it real, showing you that me too doesn't always get things like spot on. In fact, when have I ever? There's not a single video where I've actually executed perfection, so that's a total lie. They always just are kind of winging it. Okay, we're going to stick our border strips all the way. I did the bottom one first because it's easier to be able to trim that little one, and I'm trimming off the excess at the bottom where my strips weren't straight. I'm cutting myself a nice straight edge on my side strips just so I can butt it up against those ones and try and get them close to the edge as possible. But like I said, it's fine not to, because you can trim them down, and then you're going to take it all the way to the top and trim that. So you're creating a little channel in the middle of your bookmark. Now, using the patterned paper as I have done actually makes it blend in a bit better into your bookmark. It looks deliberate, as you can see here. And we're going to trim that one. Okay, so next step is to repeat that whole process by sticking the sticky tape on that border once again. But I'm first going to trim down some uneven edges because they were really bothering me. And then you can trim everything at the end of the project, I suppose. I know that I fight with my knife and I'm probably going to make a mess, and I'm probably going to need to retrim it later. So the more times I do it, probably the better. Okay, there we go. Almost straight. Almost. Okay, so this is the channel that we're going to stick our sequins in. So we need to adhere our first layer of acetate to this. And we're leaving that little gap open, as you can see. So I'm going to take some sticky tape and I'm going to whack it on top. Now, it's at this point I realised that my sticky tape must be a little bit old, because when I whack it on top of my patterned paper and peel it, it's not as clear as some of my sticky tapes. So it is going to be a little bit evident through the acetate, but we'll come to that later. So if at this point you peel it and you think, oh, that looks ugly, it's okay. So did mine. It's fine. We'll deal with that later. It will show through your acetate, sure, but you know, we can fix that. So I'm just going to peel these off. Why am I so slow at this? There we go, fighting with the strips again. Once again, people, what did I say? Use foam tape. Save yourself the heartache. Skip this entire process. I can even see my frustration in my hands of how ready I was to give up at this point. And look, my strips are coming off, and I was like, you know what, give me the glue. Give me the goddamn glue, not you, you're the wrong glue. Oh yeah, I totally forgot that I tried to fix it with this glue, which is really like throwing a cup of water out of a boat while an entire ocean is coming into it. It wasn't very effective. It's the glue that failed in the first place. So I forgot to put a bit of sticky tape at the bottom. See how distracted it made me? When things just start falling apart, I'm very chaotic and all over the place. Are you that kind of crafter? Because I'm that kind of crafter. Sometimes things go smoothly and I sail through a project, and then for some reason, other times like this one, nothing goes to plan. Everything's sticking to everything. Nothing's straight. Actually, nothing's ever straight. That's a lie. Nothing's ever straight. But in this case, it was just more annoying than usual. Okay, we're semi-lining up the acetate, but I'm not being too precise. I'm just making sure I've got at least the bottom and side completely covered, so as not to waste too much acetate, and we're adhering that to our bookmark. Then we can trim around that baby. See, that's what I should have done with the patterned paper earlier. We're trimming around that baby. You know what, somebody should revoke my knife license, I swear. Watching myself using it sometimes, I'm like, there must be a better tool out there for people like me who are knife challenged. Scissors don't always cut it. I think there needs to be a special tool deliberately designed for people who are, you know, requiring more support when it comes to using craft knives. Maybe I'll start a support group for, you know, those with an inability to cut anything. Okay, as you can see, we've got the little opening at the top. This is where we're going to stick the sequins, and this is where disaster... Are we on disaster 2? Disaster 3? Anyway, this is where I'm going to have another glue fail. This is where the side strips are going to start opening up. Now, if you had a really good adhesion, this would not have happened. But I didn't have a good adhesion. So, you know, Scotch tape, as you can see, it's already getting under the acetate. And I'm not even noticing at this point that they're all falling out the side. I'm just chucking them in there and thinking, oh, that doesn't look like a lot. Why is that not a lot? I thought I put more than that in. And then I'm like, maybe I just didn't. So I put more in, and I'm completely failing to notice that my glue has failed and they are just falling out of the side. Don't worry, I do come back to it. This is when I'm starting to realise they are sticking out of the sides. Look, they're even on my desk. So yeah, glue fail. That's all that was. That is a glue fail. That is not a design fail in the whole paper strip thing. It's just a glue fail. So don't use Scotch glue. It's good for adhering paper to paper if you're not going to be putting any kind of pressure on it, but it's not good for something like this. Okay, so at this point I'm kind of have that delirious optimism where I assume just pressing the paper back together is going to fix the glue issue, and I realise that's not working. So I'm reaching for something a little more heavy duty, and I'm going to glue my edges together like I should have done in the first place, with a glue that is much more reliable. So if this happens to you and you have a glue fail, fear not. You can always insert some glue and stick those suckers down. So this is another example of do as I say, not as I do, because as you can see, this was a complete fail. And look at all those sequins on the table. They have indeed fallen from my bookmark. You know, or you could have at this point, as I'm going to do at the end, stitched 3 sides of your little bookmark. That would have completely kept those sides completely. That's what I do in the fabric version. I stitch them. But you know, I'm trying to do a paper version. I'm trying to make it so that you guys who don't have sewing machines don't have to use one. Just use bear glue. That's all I'm saying. And yeah, we're just going to pretend these sequins here didn't happen, and we're just going to, you know, slide them out of sight and put them back there and pretend, oh, I didn't need those at all. Just move this out of the way. Yeah, they were just ones I dropped and not a complete fail of, keeping them inside the bookmark. Okay, so I've got it pegged right now while I'm letting the glue dry a little bit in the worst part that was opening right up. I'm going to go find what we're going to put on the front of this acetate. Now, as I said before, we're going to double the acetate up. That is so we can insert stickers or images onto this layer so they're in front of the sequins, and then seal them in for durability. So I'm just looking through. Do you love all my bee stuff? The absolutely fabulous people in my Facebook group sent me some bee stuff because I was looking for bee stuff, and now I have a little pile of it and it's all gorgeous. So thank you to all my members who sent me this little bundles of bee stuff. I love them all, as you can see. If you want to come join my Facebook group, the link is below. We have a monthly challenge that we do. Check the channel and you'll see my offering for May. And yeah, so if you want to send me goodies, you know, that's the place to be. Go on to Facebook, join our group, and then message me and be like, I have bee stuff you can have. I totally send things in return, like a trade. I don't just expect freebies. So these lovely little bees came from one of my face group members, and I adore them, and I'm going to use 2 of them. And even though they don't really go with the overall theme of my little bookmark, I don't really care. I just decided I wanted bees on flowers to go with my weirdly luminous neon yellow and green sequins. I think I was a little bit colourblind this morning, to be honest. Now that I'm watching the video and I'm like, why did I pick such a weird colour combination? I was like, you know what? It looks fine. We'll just go with it. So I'm picking a second bee here, slightly smaller, and I'm going to cut that out too. I'm just leaving a little white border around them. And usually I would probably have more of a plan about how the overall look of my bookmark, but like I said, today I was totally winging it. I just got up and I was like, remember that bookmark I made years ago? I should make a paper version. I didn't plan, I didn't have ready-made papers, I just took what was off the little pile on my desk and I was like, I'll use this stuff. Okay, so I'm cutting out that bee. Finally, how long does it take one person to cut out a bee? And I'm going to stick it there. Now at this point, you don't really need to adhere these very well, just a little squidgy glue on the back of them because they are going to be sandwiched between acetate. So you just need a little dot of glue to keep them in place so they don't move around in the acetate. Even a little square of the double-sided tape would work. And now we are going to stick a second layer of the sticky tape to this acetate because we're going to cover it up. And before we do though, I'm going to stick a little bit of glue just in that bottom that we left open and close that down. We are going to come back to that in the last step that will seal it properly. Use a strong glue here just to be sure it doesn't peel open and all your sequins fall out. But if you're going to finish it with a sewing machine like I am, it doesn't really matter. Okay, we're going to stick once again the sticky tape. See what I mean by I can't word today? I just can't word. I don't know if it's because I'm bunged up with the hay fevers or if I'm just tired. It has been an incredibly long 2 weeks, I'm not gonna lie. I have been doing manual labour every single day for 2 weeks. I'm just not cut out for that kind of life. So I'm very tired all the time. And I think it's maybe bamboozled my brain a little bit. And I'm an author. That is my day job and I can't word. It's a pretty bad affliction when that is your literal job. Okay, so we are peeling the sticky tape. And we are going to stick down our acetate. Now on the front, you're not leaving any sides open. You're just covering the whole thing to sandwich in. Why am I trying to stick another strip? I've already done it. I just need to peel it. That shows how tired I am. Now this is where I mean the sticky tape will actually start making your little pattern strips look a little bit ugly because you can see the sticky tape as you double it up. But if you want to cover that at the end, I'll give you some options to cover that. I'm going to cover it with stitching. I don't know why I wait till the end. I could just tell you now. After you've put your acetate on, I suppose you could glue on some trim, put some washi tape over the edges, make more paper strips to match your pattern and just adhere them on. Like there's loads of ways you can cover the edge borders that the sticky tape looks ugly. Wow, I'm so painfully slow in this video. I should have fast forwarded a lot of this tape peeling. I feel like 90% of this video is me trying to peel tape, only half successfully. I don't even know what I was pointing at there. Oh yeah, we're getting to the ribbon. So before we put the acetate on, we are going to adhere our ribbon to the bottom of our bookmark. So you could do ribbon, embroidery thread, wool, anything. It doesn't matter. Trim. Something that is quite flat or not very bulky, because we're going to tape this between the 2 layers of acetate. And you're just going to stick it to the double-sided sticky tape at the bottom, like so. Stick that down. I don't know why I picked orange. Looking at it now, that was totally the wrong colour choice, but you know, I think I got up this morning and I was slightly colourblind, because that's the only explanation for my choices I made for this bookmark. Or maybe I'm just, you know, drugged on the joys of spring and the fact that it's like flower season, and I was just like, I'll have all the colours, and we'll use them in one project. Okay, I stuck another bit of sticky tape over the ribbon just so my acetate is going to adhere on all sides, and we're going to cover that whole thing on our sheet acetate. Now, you don't need to do this step if you've used like glossy stickers instead of paper bees. I just feel that it makes it a much more durable, thicker bookmark. It seals in your images so they don't peel off with being touched all the time. And you could also put another sheet of acetate on the back of your bookmark at this point, just to make both sides wipeable, and this bookmark would last decades. Like, acetate is very, very durable. If you cover both sides with acetate, the sucker's going to be around for a long time. Okay, so at this point, how you cover up that tape is up to you. I'm going to trim my ribbon here. I think my scissors are finally getting blunt. Look how hard it is for me to cut ribbon. What is it? Why are they sticking to the scissors? That's what I said. Today was just one of those days where everything was just annoying me. And I was just like, this video, I'm just going to chuck this video out the window. Okay, we're going to just... no, what even am I saying? Singe the edges. I think I need a cup of tea. That's what I need. I need a break and a cup of tea. And I'm going to stitch around this entire thing to hide my tape. I mean, like I said, you could use washi tape, you could use more of your paper, you could use trim, glue, whatever you want onto hide the sticky tape if yours is as bad as mine and noticeable. But if you're using less old sticky tape, you probably won't even see it. I'm going to go and stitch it and come back and show you how that looks. I like the stitch look. I feel like it adds something. It camouflages where that sticky tape is. I've did it in white stitching this time, and I think it looks super cute. And yes, the sequins do move. You can move them around a little bit. Now obviously they would move a lot more if you used thicker strips. I didn't want them too thick. I don't mind them staying kind of in place. But like I said, there's a fabric version of this bookmark that shows you how to make completely custom ones. I actually did it so that I could make bookmarks for an author event to match my own books. So that link will be below if you want to go and watch that one. It's much more about making the fabric versions, and it's a little bit more successful than this one. So I will catch you in the next video. Hope you enjoyed this project, and the next video won't be a papercraft video. I have a doll hospital video coming up next, so catch you in the next one.